All right, welcome back to another episode of the Pin High Podcast presented by Golficity. This week, we're going to be talking about Viktor Hovland's second straight win at the Mayakoba. We're going to preview some picks for the Houston Open. We're going to cap off the episode with a little guess that player in the field. So let's get into it.
This is Jordan Spieth here, and
this is the Pin High Podcast.
All right, before we get inside the ropes, quick shout out to our sponsor, Rowback. Click the link in our bio, add anything to your cart, and you'll get 15% off their polos, hats. Jeek's wearing a hat, quarter zips. Their hoodies are fire. I love my hoodie. I wear it like twice a week at least.
I need to get a hoodie.
Also, on top of Rowback, shout out to Charlotte's Web CBD. They just sent me one's the sleep gummies that we all know and love that we've had for the past year. And they also, what is this? It's a daily wellness gummy that they also sent. So I love that stuff. The sleep gummies always put me to sleep. Let's get into the episode. All right. Inside the ropes, Viktor Hovland, second straight week at the Mayakoba. Second straight year winning at the Mayakoba. I feel like we've been missing the easy winners recently, like Matsuyama in Japan, Hovland going back-to-back at the Mayakoba. We've been missing some easy ones.
I mean, but how often do guys win the same event 2 years in a row?
No.
It doesn't really happen a lot.
You're right.
And, we don't like picking the favorites for the most part. I mean, every once in a while we will pick the favorites, but, I don't know. How often does that happen? It's tough to
That doesn't
really
happen
go into
that
that.
often.
Clearly for this tournament happens a lot because Brendan Todd won it twice in a row, he won back-to-back tournaments, not twice.
Yeah, no, he just got hot for 2
No,
weeks.
I won Bermuda and Mayakoba. Yeah.
For Bermuda and Mayakoba, but still, that's something with this tournament has to do with back-to-back winners in some sense.
No, the moment you start backing like stuff like that, where it goes wrong, it doesn't happen. But for some reason recently, I bet the public is just beating up Vegas right now on golf bets because I feel like the public was probably super on Viktor Hovland just because he won last year, and I'm sure at the Zozo people were pretty heavy on Hideki Matsuyama just because he's from Japan.
I think the Zozo is huge on the public. Probably want a ton on Zozo just because of Matsuyama.
Shout out to my winner pick Matthew Wolf for being a first round leader at 50-1.
Yeah, true. Nice. Too bad we didn't pick him first round leader and you picked him winner, but he couldn't really hold on to that the rest of the week. I think he had a really bad third round.
Down. Yeah,
and that kind of was the end
over, I think, on Saturday.
But I don't know if you guys saw this story about Viktor Hovland, but his driver was snapped before the third round. So Danny Lee was asked him if he could swing his driver, and of course Viktor Hovland's like, yeah, sure, you can swing my driver. I'm sure that stuff happens all the time on the range.
So I think Danny Lee was mesmerized by how far Viktor Hovland was hitting it with his a little bit longer driver, and so I think Hovland they were just joking around, and he said, here, try it out, and he swung really hard and recoiled, and when he because as you do when you swing really hard, and when he recoiled, it just snapped.
Yeah, and you see that in long drive a lot. But Viktor Hovland didn't have a backup driver on him this week, which is a little odd. I feel like most pros, especially your driver, you have a backup on you. Didn't have a backup on him. He's walking around, the reps are walking around trying to find somebody. He also uses a ping that has a backup for him. They ended up going to James Hahn, who had a backup driver, the Ping G4 something. I don't know what the current model is. He had one, but it was a little bit shorter than the driver that Viktor Hovland uses. And I mean, what does he do with that driver? Back-to-back rounds of in the 60s, in the low 60s, and ends up winning the tournament. So maybe he's gonna, take Hahn's driver and use it the rest of the way.
Which also good for Danny Lee to finish T7 this tournament this week. Both of them played well, and the leaderboard is honestly. I mean, there's Brendan Todd, there's Sergio Answer, Matt Wolf, Neiman, Scheffler, JT, Ortiz, and then Hovland up top. That's a pretty good leaderboard for. Obviously, Hovland was 1 by 4, and he was ahead of the other guys by several strokes, but still a pretty good leaderboard
Yeah,
for
I
an
mean,
event like this.
the favorites kind of just like went to the top of the leaderboard this week, which I'd say like you don't usually see. Like, obviously there's usually a lot of favorites, but you don't usually see them all just like in the top 20, top 10. So, interesting tournament, definitely, as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you wonder if Viktor Hovland will experiment with like some of the maybe shorter courses, dialing it back with his driver to a shorter length. I don't know.
I mean, you got to keep using it, right, until you play bad, and then maybe you could go back to the other one.
It depends on. I think it's situational, probably.
I guess. But I mean, he hit the driver well the last two rounds in the 60s. I mean, I'll take that every time. So.
No, exactly, yeah.
Well, Viktor Hovland just goes on a streak, wins like 5 straight with this like shorter driver, and you're like, what have you been doing this whole time?
Yeah, and smaller golf.
Still hasn't won the U.S. yet.
Technically, you're right.
Hasn't.
Yeah.
Still has not. Well, I guess we can go on to something kind of pertaining to that because he's won on the European Tour. He's won in Mexico. The European Tour is changing its name to the DP World Tour. And honestly, I feel like just, at a surface level, I'm still going to call it the European Tour. But
100%.
It could be worse. Now, like, cuz like some of the names of these tournaments, like this week we have the Hewlett Packard Enterprise Houston Open, so that's pretty much a mouthful. But I mean, DP World Tour, not bad at all. And I mean, I think
no, it's not.
It's been called the European Tour, no sponsor, the last forever, pretty much. But really, only 23 out of the 47 events that they have on the European Tour are in Europe. So, I mean, the World Tour makes sense. It's really a World Tour. I mean, they go all around.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're in Dubai. They're all over the place.
Yeah, so I mean, it makes sense. Like I said, it could be worse, and it's good for the golfers. The prize money is now pretty much doubled now that they have a sponsor. So I mean,
yeah,
that's only good things come from that.
Yeah, and that goes into like the whole super league of golf, like all that kind of stuff. If that's gonna happen, who's gonna play in that? That stuff. Yeah. I learned a lot about that like a couple of weeks ago, and it's like it's all so complicated. But like,
I heard Greg Norman's part of it.
Yeah.
Greg Norman is like spearheading it, and then no one's like confirmed, but it's. I mean, it could be just so much money that some players just like can't turn it down.
Yeah, I'm sure players will go for the money grab, but I feel like you'll see like thinking about like what kind of caliber players you're gonna have in that. Thinking like a Siwoo Kim maybe, someone like that.
But it's really a matter of like do you get like a Corey Connors type of player, like good player, but I don't know if you get the top guys that already make so much money from the PGA Tour and endorsements and everything,
right?
That they really would sacrifice like playing on the PGA Tour to play in the Super League.
I mean, whatever. I'm sure all it takes is like one domino to kind of like fall as far as that goes. Exactly. Like if all of a sudden you get like if Tiger Woods all of a sudden is like, oh, I'm a part of this. Like this is the new thing. Like everybody's gonna follow him, right? I don't think Tiger's gonna do Tiger.
Because that's just very clearly. I mean, I don't think Tiger's gonna do it, but I think that's very clearly like it would be like a Tiger like end of the career thing,
or like Justin Thomas. I don't know, just like pick any name.
Justin Thomas, maybe, yeah, like something like that.
Well, I think the big thing is with it is that people are hesitant because it's associated with like Dubai money. It's like Trump is like associated with it. Like they're playing at Trump courses, maybe. Greg Norman's associated. It's like, all right, you're gonna basically like leave the PGA Tour, and I don't know if this is gonna be affiliated PGA Tour at all, or what the deal with that, what that's gonna be. But you're gonna be like, all right, I'm just gonna make $50 million playing this Dubai World Tour with Trump and Greg Norman. Like I don't know how the public might not perceive that well. But if one person does it and then like people are like don't really react that badly, more players would be like, oh yeah, maybe I will go do that. He didn't get that bad of a reaction to it or something like that.
I mean, the PGA Tour is like firmly against this thing, I believe. So like if you go there, you can't come back pretty much. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm more curious to see like if this does happen, do they get some of the younger talent? Like do they get some of the younger players out of college that like you might not know yet, but they might become like studs, but they never get to the PGA Tour because they went to go play for the money. I don't know.
But could they play in some of the majors? Maybe.
I think they'd like from what I heard, I think they could. I think the Dubai or wherever they're calling it. I don't know what it's called, but wherever they're calling it, I think they scheduled it around like you still playing the majors, like you're still eligible to play in the majors.
Yeah, because those are not the PGA Tour. So
yeah, the PGA Tour can't be like, no, you can't come play in the major, even if you're like John Rahm and you're the number one player in the world. He's like, you can't be like, all right, you can't play in the Masters.
Yeah, the only thing is like the USGA or the PGA Championship, you probably can't play in. The USGA, like they could say like, no, you can't play in that. Same thing with the Open.
But are they really going to be like, if Rory was doing this and Rory was going to play in the US Open, are they really going to be like, no, you can't play?
Well, to prevent players from going over to that, that might be like one of the main things. Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting topic, definitely, and I mean, obviously, we need to wait to hear more about it.
Honestly, we should with one of these weeks where there's no tournaments, we should just like look into it more and just like have a whole podcast just discussing that.
The Super League podcast.
Maybe you should try to get somebody who's like involved in it on the podcast.
I mean, if somebody from the whatever they're calling this wants a podcast, we'll happily be the official podcast of the Super Golf League or whatever. Just throw the money our way.
I'll jump ship. Is $25 million each, and we'll be the official podcast of the.
All you have
Super
to do,
League, whatever it's called. Greg Norman, hit us up. Just we're here.
Yeah, we're all three of us will jump ship for this thing if you want us to.
Yeah.
For the right price.
We'll do whatever you want us to do.
Say to heck with the PGA Tour, with the Sanderson Farms and the Farmers Insurance Open, and I will go straight to that oil money Saudi Arabian Open.
Yep.
Exactly.
Like
with a field of like 20 players, and like it'll be
for the love of the game, kind of, but for the right price, I will sell out so quickly. I'm sorry, but I will.
I mean, even if sponsors wanted to like buy, it's like the whole like European like soccer, European or hockey, even like they all have like sponsors all over themselves. Like sponsors want to come by. I'll be a walking billboard if anyone pays me.
I will wear a Cisco shirt on the pod every week if you need me to. It's just the first one that came to mind. Cisco's actually big in golf for some reason. That's random that came to mind. But that being said, Greg Norman.
So Greg Norman, if you're listening, hit us up. We're here.
You're on the clock. So more golf news. We can maybe talk about that more during one of the off weeks. Phil and Chuck will be on the call for the Bryson and Brooks match.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. Kind of the same cast. This is the first one that Phil's not really a part of, I think. So,
but he is.
But he is now. So, like, I'm sure it would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, Brooks is actually playing this week, so I wasn't expecting that.
I think Chase is playing too.
Brooks Chase Koepka?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he is. He's in the field. He's 500 to 1 to win.
I mean,
he's in the field.
That's where my winner bet. 10 to win what, like 5,000?
Yeah.
But I think that'll be good. Phil and Chuck, that'll be entertaining. I think the 12 holes will make it much. I feel like I know a lot of my friends are not golf fans, and they will hear that this match is 12 holes, and they'll be like, "That's awesome! Like, I'll watch that if it's 12 holes. Like, that's it."
It's still to me like a weird number of holes. Like, it's kind of like, all right, why don't you just make it 9 if you're kind of like making it shorter? But I guess it's like, I don't know. 18 is obviously way too long. Just these matches take so long, but. With Phil, it's gonna be like he talks so much. It's funny and like he's awesome, but I feel like he's just gonna talk like the entire time. And then Chuck's just gonna make a good joke, and it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it, but it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, they definitely bring in new wrinkles every time that like these things happen. Like it is getting better every time. We said this last time too, but 12 I guess 12 holes they didn't want to do 9, but they also didn't want to do 18, so kind of a happy medium, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guarantee if Brooks loses, he's gonna say, "Oh, it wasn't a real match. It wasn't 12 holes, or it wasn't an actual match. Like I didn't lose this or something like that." I can definitely see him tweeting out something.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. On that note, let's get into skins and here we go. Hewlett Packard Enterprise Houston Open.
Yeah, so the Houston Open for short. I don't know why they are just throwing sponsors on all these.
They're throwing
tournaments now.
sponsors on sponsors.
It's hard to keep track.
It's basically it's the Green Bay Packers Houston Open. That's what it sounds like.
Pretty much.
I was thinking it sounded like the Packer like from The Office.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Todd Packer Houston
Open. Yeah. I mean, like they just keep throwing sponsors on all of these events, which I guess for the right price, like any event could be sponsored. So
everyone has a price, including
the Pin High Podcast Open. Bermuda Championship. I don't know.
Anyway,
anything has a right
course
basket.
preview.
Yeah. Anyway, Memorial Park Golf Club. It's the second year that's been at this course. Way back in the day, the Houston Open used to be at this course, but like that doesn't really correlate to now. So, but yeah, it's par 70. It's 74.32, so a lot longer than last week. There's 3 par 3s over 200 yards, which is always interesting. So with that being said, there's probably a slight advantage to the longer hitters. And it's a pretty open course for the most part. The only thing is there's a lot of wind, so if you have a high wind week, the scores might be a little bit lower. And it really wasn't that easy of a track last year. The players kind of had a tough time hitting greens in regulation. So, I mean, look at the strokes gain approach for sure this week. It was kind of built to resemble a major style golf course, even though it's not totally a major style golf course. And it's very different from like the standard Texas golf courses. So, like obviously a Texas native could win this, but like I wouldn't put so much into that.
Is this course the same course they played in recent years?
Just last year. Yeah, so last year Carlos Ortiz won. He was 13 under for the tournament, which is a pretty good score for like, a non-major tournament. That's not that high. Yeah, I mean, key stats: strokes gain approach, strokes gain around the green, and strokes gain tee to green.
All right. So I'll go first this week. Why not?
Three skins on the line this week.
Doesn't matter for me.
Really.
This is huge for Jake. You could tie. If I win this, it's basically should be. I think it's over.
It would be tough. Yeah.
Yeah, but if Jake wins, it's tied.
It's interesting.
Or I could play spoiler.
You could. I mean, so Trevor and I both got our picks right last week. Brendan Todd top 40. I mean, that was his event, but now it's Viktor Hovland's event. So like, I mean, Brendan Todd kind of relinquished that status of that being his event.
To be fair, mine are all big underdogs that I'm going with value.
Right.
So,
I was so high on Emiliano Grillo last week. Put it on the TikTok, everything, and he had a pretty good first round. He was like 4 or 5 under, and then he had a terrible second round and didn't make the cut. So,
he went 4 under, 2 over.
Yeah, that's tough.
God. Yeah. And the cut was at 4 under, so
I was
he
like,
literally
he's only like
even par.
He's only like 6 back of the lead, like for the first day or something like that. Or Matt Wolff shot some like ridiculous score on the first day.
Yeah, he shot 10 under.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, this might work out. He might end up near the top, and then bad second day. So
right. So this week we talked about strokes gain approach. So I looked towards the top of the leaderboard. Some big names have been winning recently. I went with Sung Jae Im at 20-1. I feel like he's played some solid golf recently. I mean, he won me a bet. Whatever it was, like 4 weeks ago, probably something like that, with an outright winner. So I like him this week. And then my best bet, a little bit of value, going with Hudson Swafford top 10 at plus 1400. He's actually having a pretty good recent stat start to the year. He's 64th and 67th in strokes gained off the tee and strokes gained approach. So a little bit of value for you there.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost like a winner.
Hudson Swafford or Harris English. I mean, we don't know who is going to be this week. So.
Have I told you about how I walked past? Well, now I'm forgetting which one it was.
Harris Swafford.
Harris English. I walked past Harris English.
The same person.
And I couldn't come up with which one it was because I mentally like blocked out. Who was who. But yeah, I was like walking past Harris English. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. I was like, is that Harris English or Hudson Swafford? I don't know.
Yeah,
I had to look them both up, and I still barely
Hudson
knew.
English, or yeah.
And then I looked up tee times, and it was like, okay, that was definitely Harris English. So
Yeah, I mean that gets everybody with no name over the top of their head. You don't know.
No.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go for my winner this week. I'm gonna go for Mark Leishman. He's 41-1. He started off really nicely this year in the PGA Tour. He has a T4, a T3, and a T38 in the 3 events he's played this season, so not too bad. Has always been a really good stroke gain approach player, very good ball striker. Has great tee to green stats this year, and I mean he's been putting lights out. He's like top 10 in strokes gained putting. So I mean if you put the putter together with the ball striking, and I mean the recent form he's been playing pretty well.
He's done it before too.
Yeah, and he's done it before. I mean I think this event and this golf course, he's a pretty long hitter as well. I mean I think the event and the golf course and how he's playing could definitely lead to a win. Or at least like a top 10 now, or he'll get cut like Emiliano Grillo. Who knows? Yeah, and then for my best bet, I'm risking it a little bit because I think we do have the threshold of -110, but I'm gonna go with a +165 Tyrrell Hatton to be the top English player. He kind of has a favorable matchup as far as like which English players are in the field this week. Ian Poulter, Aaron Rai, Danny Willett, Lee Westwood. So, I mean, Tyrrell Hatton's probably the best player out of all those. And he's made his 2 cuts in the U.S. to start the season. He's good at approach. He's good around the green. He's a good putter. I think it works out pretty well.
All right. So I'm actually going to change my best bet real quick. But my winner is going to be Christian Gesundheit, plus 4,500. Can either of you guess when the last time he missed a cut on any tour?
May 11th.
Jeek?
I feel like he missed a cut at one of the majors. I'm gonna go with the PGA.
PGA Championship. We know he did
October 4th, 2020.
Wow,
last time he missed a cut.
Ago.
Wow.
He's won twice since then. He's literally like he's finished 3rd and 5th. Like he finished 3rd in the Korn Ferry Championship, BMW PGA Championship on the European Tour, finished 5th, and then finished T15 at the Mayakoba this past week as well. So he's kind of like, I didn't realize that until I saw those stats, but
Lucas Herbert just got a dub on the PGA Tour. Maybe Christian Gesundheit gets one.
And he's been like, we've been talking about Christian Gesundheit for quite some time, over like almost a year probably.
I mean, I used to not know how to pronounce his name at all.
He's like top 50 in the world. Like he's ready to take a jump and win on the PGA Tour. So
because I
like his game this week.
We talk about him enough that I actually know how to pronounce his last name.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Is Bezadenhout, right?
Yeah. Bezadenhout.
Yeah, Bezadenhout.
Maybe we don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
I think it's Hout.
But and then I'll go with my best bet. I'll go with a round 1 3-ball. Bezadenhout over Peter Uihlein and Chesson Hadley. Plus 110.
Okay. Those 3 balls
That'll
you can get some value in because you have to beat 2 guys, but you get some value in those.
I'll do that. I originally had Russell Henley over Maverick McNeely, as I know Russell Henley he's won this event before, not at this course.
Maverick McNeely's been good this year though, so I kind of like that you went.
Yeah, that's why McNeely was kind of hot, and I was a little bit sus on that. And then Russell Henley's also been playing really well recently too. So if you want another best bet, Russell Henley, I'm sure his top 40 is probably actually very good line. I don't even know what it is right now.
So who is it? Is Bezadenhout over who?
Uihlein and Hadley.
Uihlein and
Hadley.
Yeah. Round 1.
Before we get into the first round leader, I do want to mention one name because last couple of weeks we've been missing the obvious guy for the events. Just by looking at the odds and looking at everybody, the obvious guy this week is probably Scotty Scheffler, 16-1. He's a Texas native. He's from Texas. Like, I feel like that's the obvious guy. So
what's he to be top 5?
That's a good question. Finishing positions, top 5. He's plus 490. But yeah, I mean that's
For
the
like
that's the
for the
obvious
bigger
guy. I
whale
feel like
betters, that might be a decent.
he's a good approach
decent
player. He's a longer hitter. He's a good putter. I mean, he's good at everything, and he's a Texas native. I feel like we'd be kicking ourselves if like we didn't say his name or at least mention him this week, and he goes out and wins. So I just had to mention that name before we got into the first round leader. And then for the first round leader, I have Jason Kokrak, 50-1. Just feeling the first round leader on this guy. Long hitter,
like
good
that.
putter. I mean that works out nicely, and he's
I
just
like
a
him.
first round leader type of guy. I feel like
He is. He for sure is.
Mm-hmm.
So is Sung JM.
very true. But I feel like I do these first round leader things and post them every week, and like a lot of the times it's somebody very like random. Like besides last week was Matthew Wolf. Like for the most part, it's somebody more unknown.
Yeah. All right. So I see here that Jeek put in the Portugal Masters pick.
We already just pick a name. I'll go first. I no stats behind this whatsoever. I just saw the list and the field's like not really that bad looking. So I'm gonna go with Min Woo Lee. He's 20-1. Why not?
I will go with Sam Horsfield plus 290. Why not?
Pick Matt Wallace.
Wait,
Right,
psych.
why not?
Is that guy who hits the ball really far playing?
The South African guy.
Yeah. Wilco.
Boko, yeah.
I think this is the same thing
No,
as
he's
the
not playing.
Aviv
He's not.
Dubai Championship, isn't it?
I guess it just says the.
We'll
Portugal
stick with
Masters.
Sam Horsfield. So let's get into the clubhouse to end the week. So I'm going to pick somebody in the field this week randomly. You guys are gonna try to guess them, and I have them.
In the field this week.
Yeah, it's in
the field this week for the Houston Open.
Let's get rid of our odds question first, Trevor. But we need to pick an odds. So
Okay.
are his odds better than plus 13,000?
For example, like Sung JM would be better.
Yes.
You're saying? Okay. Yes.
Okay.
It's not Sung JM.
So they are better than.
Tony Finau's playing this week.
Um,
Is he American?
No.
non-American.
That's two.
Ooh, okay.
I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of non-Americans. Like especially under that value that we put out.
You're gonna ask another one. Is he European?
Is he European? Yes. That's three.
He's European. Has he won like in the last year, I guess?
Just in general, or
Yeah, just in general. Has he won anything in the last?
no.
That takes out a lot of people. I feel like. I assume Hatton is one on the European tour, so that's the first guy down.
I think I know who it is, but I'm gonna. I don't know who. I don't know who else it would be.
There's so many questions you can ask.
Is he taller than 6 feet tall?
Yes.
I think I know who it is.
I think I might know who it is too.
All right, go for it.
Yeah.
You want to guess, G?
Is it well, let me check first. If he's won last year. I wasn't gonna go and check, but
It's great radio right now.
this is wonderful. Right
I know.
Is it Ian Poulter?
It is
Is
Ian
that-
Poulter.
That's what I was gonna guess too.
Just had to make sure he didn't win like in Europe somewhere. Like
No,
just
I had to
randomly.
check that real quick. No, he hasn't won in a while.
yeah, no, I just checked it.
Anything.
He hasn't won
I
since.
I
like
don't think he's won
2018.
since the Houston Open in 2018.
Yep, that's the last time he's
I'm
won.
correct.
He beat
So?
Bo Hostler in a playoff.
I beat
Look at
both
me being
Hostler, yep.
topical by accident.
You had no clue.
No, I didn't at all.
That was
But
a good
anyway.
one. Yeah, we narrowed that down kind of quick. Once
did.
we
It's very-
once we got to
Well,
Europe.
But once he
and didn't
was
win.
European, like I'm like, all right, only people I recognize that are European are Hatton and Poulter.
Yeah, no, I was just like rolling
Like,
down the
I-
list here. I'm like, well, he won. Like he's not European. He won. Like I guess
No,
did
it doesn't
Lee
matter.
Westwood win in the? He won in Europe, so yeah, couldn't have been him. It could have
All right,
been
next
Danny. It
week-
could have been Danny Willett. Well, if it was 13,000, could have been Danny Willett. That was
Yeah,
the only other person.
that's why I was also considering that, saying that because it could have been Matthias
He
Schwab
he
or
won
Danny
too.
Willett, and I
He
wasn't
won
sure
in
which
he
one.
won in Europe in the last year, I believe. So it
Oh, he
couldn't have
did.
been
He
him.
won like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
we had
that's
that
right, I
narrowed
forgot
down
about
quick.
So next week there's going to be another couple people in the field that are like obvious winners because we're going down to Sea Island for the RSM Classic,
Sea Island
and of
boys.
course you have all the Sea Island boys. Keith Mitchell, Hudson Swafford, Patton Kazire.
Yeah, you might be a week early on Hudson Swafford here with your.
Maybe I am. Or maybe it's just some good momentum going into his home course.
Right.
Never know. And then
Just
it's the
trying to
Hero
peak
World
at the
Challenge,
right
and then
time.
we're coming up on like the big off season. Like right now is like not great, but like we're coming up on like off season.
Yeah, we'll have the Super League special or whatever it's called. We'll think of some other things.
Yeah.
Maybe find some interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But yeah, no, we'll see you next week for the RSM Classic.